Electronic fetal monitoring. There are two types, external and internal. External monitors are placed on the abdomen and held in place with belts. They read the contractions and fetal heart rate through the abdomen. Internal monitors enter the uterus through the vagina or the cervix, and they accurately read the contraction pattern and the intensity, and they accurately read the fetal heart rate. What two things are being monitored? Well, the uterine contractions and the fetal heart rate. What parameters are measured in terms of the uterine contractions? We measure uterine contractions, we measure their frequency, their duration, and their intensity, and of equal importance, we measure the resting period. Contraction frequency. They're measured from the beginning of one contraction until the beginning of the next one. Or you can count how many contraction cycles occur within a given period of time. Contraction duration. This one is just the beginning of a contraction until the end of that contraction. There's no resting period measured with this one. As with the frequency, it's best to measure the duration of several contractions to see what's the range of all the durations. Intensity. If you are using external monitors, those are the belts around the abdomen, you must palpate the contractions to measure intensity. You cannot tell the intensity by looking at the monitor. But you can tell the intensity if the woman has internal monitors. They will accurately measure the intensity of the contraction. The resting period between contractions is critical. This is the time that the fetus breathes. It's the time the oxygen and the nutrients and the waste products are all passed back and forth between the uterus and the placenta. If the uterus doesn't completely rest between contractions, the fetus uses up all its reserves and can develop fetal distress. Alright, fetal heart rate monitoring. First, you have to identify the baseline. You can't tell anything else if you haven't measured and identified the baseline first, and quite often that's measured or that's recorded in terms of a range, like 120 to 130 for instance. Next, you look at the baseline variability, not the variable decelerations. We're looking at the variability of the baseline itself, and the presence of moderate variability is an indicator of fetal health. Similarly, accelerations are an indicator of fetal health. First, you've identified the baseline, and then you're looking for where the heart rate goes up above that baseline. And an acceleration the heart rate goes up at least 15 beats per minute above that baseline and lasts for at least 15 seconds. Okay, decelerations come in 3 brands: early, variable, and late. They're all described in your text, and we've given you plenty of handouts about them. What you need to be able to tell is when do each one occur, what do they look like, what do they mean, what's the causes of each one of these, and most importantly, what's the nurse going to do when they occur.